This is the May-June 2020 Biology paper 1. You start off the paper with customary instructions. You have an hour and 15 minutes to complete this paper. It consists of 60 items, and they tell you that you have 4 suggested answers to choose from, and you have to choose one. They give you an example of how to choose an answer. So before we jump into it, we want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell, give us that thumbs up by clicking the like, and feel free to share the videos with anyone who might be preparing for the Biology CSEC exam. So let's jump into it with question 1. Which of the following features is used to classify a group of organisms as class Insecta? And that is number of segments. Insects are required to have 3 segments: the head, thorax, abdomen. Question 2. Which of the following sampling methods is most suitable for estimating the density of mushrooms in a garden? From the options they have given, the quadrat is the best to use. Which of the following correctly identifies a niche, which is the job or the role of an organism, and a habitat, the place where an organism lives? And that will make question 3 A. Item 4 refers to the following food web. We see the producer being phytoplankton, and we have zooplankton, small fish and crustaceans, large fish and marine mammals. And trophic level 1 is represented by phytoplankton. B. Which of the following organisms are most important in biodegradation? And we're looking at bacteria for this answer. Vultures, we know those big birds, they eat dead organisms. You might have bounced a dog or something, and you may have seen a vulture pass by. Viruses, earthworms. So A is the best answer. Question 6. Which of the following relationships may present harm to one of the organisms involved? Commensalism, parasitism, predation. 2 and 3 are presenting harm. So we are looking for that as the answer, and we see 2 and 3 only. C. Commensalism is not presenting harm. Remember, one organism benefits while the other is not endangered or harmed. That's what commensalism is. So it would have been incorrect for this question. Approximately 10% of energy stored in food is available to the next organism in the food chain, because most of the energy is lost as heat during the process of respiration. Most of the energy is lost during the process of excretion. There are fewer consumers than producers in the food chain. Many consumers compete for the same food resource. The best response here would be A. Which of the following materials are considered to be non-biodegradable? Grass cuttings, yeah. Sardine cans, no, that can break down, not, at least not biologically. So it is non-biodegradable sardine cans. Human activities would have the least immediate impact upon the formation of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels take very, very, very long to form, right? And many of the humans will be dead before the fossil fuels are formed. Replanting trees on a bare hillside is an example of reforestation and restoration, which is B. I don't know why the A is missing, but B is the answer here. Item 11 refers to the following graph of a human population size over a period of time. Which of the following factors most likely account for the change in population size from 1980 to 1989? So we are looking for this area, which means the population went down. An increase in the use of contraceptives, yes. Epidemic, deadly disease, and decrease in fatal crimes. No, a decrease in fatal crimes will carry the population up. So 1 and 2 is the answer we are looking for, which makes it A. Item 12 refers to the following diagram of a cell. We have the mitochondria as 1, the chloroplast as 2, the vacuole as 3, and the nucleus as 4. Which of the labeled structures is responsible for controlling cellular activities? And we know that is the nucleus, which is D. Which of the following comparisons of the cell wall and cell membrane is incorrect? All right, they're looking for the one that is incorrect. And after reading all the answers, found in both plants and cells for animals? No. And cell membrane is found in animal cells only? No, it is not. So A is definitely the incorrect choice, which makes it the answer. Question 14. Which of the following organelles is directly involved in photosynthesis? And photosynthesis means you need chlorophyll, and the organelle that has chlorophyll is the chloroplast, which is C. Item 15 refers to the following apparatus. We see a potato has some water in it. We have the Petri dish, which have more distilled water in it. What can be done to cause the level of solution in the Petri dish to rise? So they want it to increase after 20 minutes. And in order to do that, you need to move the water from inside the potato, on top of the potato here, into the Petri dish. And to do that, you could apply osmosis and have a gradient, a concentration gradient, where the water in the Petri dish is more concentrated than the water in the potato. So the water molecules will move into the Petri dish. And to do that, you need to add 5 grams of salt to the distilled water in the Petri dish to create that gradient. So autotrophic organisms derive their nutrition from simple inorganic substances. All right. Remember, autotrophic, auto is self, trophic is feeding. So self-feeding, you're thinking organisms like plants that feed themselves through the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis uses inorganic substances to create organic substances. 17, which of the following features does not enhance a leaf's ability to absorb solar energy? We are looking for it does not. And the presence of the vascular bundle, the presence of the xylem and phloem, that not enhancing the leaf's ability. So B is the answer. Item 18 refers to the following table, which shows the results of food tests performed on 3 food samples, X, Y, and Z. A violet color with sodium hydroxide and copper sulfate. That means they're testing this one for protein. Blue-black precipitate with iodine. This was a starch test. Orange precipitate when heated with Benedict reagent after hydrolysis. That means they were testing for sugar. So we are going with the one that lines up. Protein, starch, non-reducing sugar. That falls perfectly. Item 19 refers to the following longitudinal section of A2. And I hope persons are aware that we have now progressed into the nutritional aspect of the topic, nutrition, for section B of the syllabus. Section B of the syllabus follows cells, nutrition, respiration, and the other topics. So it means we are in the second topic of section B of the biology syllabus. So we have the enamel, the dentine, the pulp cavity, and we have this area here that I would suspect they're trying to tell us about cementum, but they're more showing this area is how they placed it, gives it an example that they're trying to say the root of the tooth. Which region of the tooth contains a large number of blood vessels and nerves? Well, it doesn't matter what 4 is doing because 4 is not correct. The answer is 3. The pulp cavity has the roots, the blood vessels, the nerves. So C is the answer. Which of the following graphs show the effect of temperature on an enzyme control reaction? And if we're thinking an enzyme control reaction, we're looking for a nice curve, because when the temperature gets too high, it will become denatured. But in the early stages, as temperature increases, enzyme activity increases. So we are looking for D. Question 21. A 50-year-old male is advised by his doctor to pay special attention to the amount of salt in his diet. He probably has a high chance of developing hypertension, which is high blood pressure caused by salt. Item 22 refers to the following diagram of the respiratory system. We have the trachea being identified coming down here, the ribs here. This is the lung itself, and I'm not too sure if this is pointing to the cavity or to the diaphragm. The line has stopped just short, so it's probably the cavity. Which of the labeled parts represent the ribs? Oh, it's 2. These are rib bones here that they are showing. Question 23 refers to the following diagram of a respiratory structure. And looking at it, the respiratory structure shown above is that of an air sac. Another name for the air sac is the alveolus. 23 is A. Which of the following is an effect of nicotine found in cigarette smoke? Nicotine is the addictive substance, or one of the addictive substances of cigarette smoke. And what does it do? Nicotine is also a drug. It is a stimulant, so it increases heart rate. Question 25. An amoeba obtains all its oxygen by diffusion, while a human needs to have a special respiratory surface for this purpose. You know this as the lungs, the organ, the lungs. The best explanation for this difference is a human surface area to volume ratio is too small for diffusion to be effective. If you had to wait for oxygen to diffuse into all your cells, you will be waiting your whole lifetime because the surface area to volume ratio is too small. So D is the answer. Which of the following options best identifies some of the transport substances in animals? Amino acids, yes, that's transported. They ask for the best. Hormones, of course, that's transported. Things like adrenaline, norepinephrine, and testosterone. These hormones are transported. Sucrose, oh no, sucrose. So we aren't plants. They have told us animals. Sucrose would have been good for plants. So 1 and 2 are what we are looking for, which makes the answer A. 27. The essential vitamins and mineral ions required for blood clotting in humans are, they told you it's a vitamin followed by a mineral. So we are all thinking vitamin K. All right, this K makes it vitamin K because it told you vitamin first. This K up here would be potassium. And notice how it has a plus, makes it potassium ions. which is a mineral, not a vitamin. Don't let that confuse you. Calcium 2+, that is calcium ions. D is the answer. Artificial immunity can best be described as an immunity produced by deliberate exposure to a pathogen. This is how vaccination happens. Remember, vaccination is artificial. Artificial means man-made. Question 29. Under which conditions will the rate of transpiration in plants be highest? You want plenty sunlight and high wind speeds, which makes the answer B. In the transport of solutes in the phloem, the source is defined as any area of the plant where sucrose is loaded into the phloem. Question 31 refers to the following diagram of a potato plant. Which part of the plant contains the most starch? Most is the capitalized word there. And that will be, if this is a potato plant, as they said it is, C, because you're accustomed eating potatoes, which are a starchy food. Item 32 refers to the following diagram of a mammalian kidney nephron. Which of the following correctly identifies the functioning of each of the labeled parts 1, 2, and 3? And we know the Bowman's capsule, which surrounds the glomerulus, ultrafiltration takes place there. We have the proximal or the first convoluted tubule, that is selective reabsorption. And we have this part, which will be the loop of Henle, which is for water conservation. So we are looking at B as the answer. Which of the following correctly describes movement in plants? And we know plants move by growth, and when they grow, it is irreversible. So part of the plant may grow, or the whole plant may grow, and that will make the answer C. Locomotion is an evolutionary adaptation performed by animals. What advantages does this mechanism have over the type of movement that occurs in plants? So you could always get up and move, quote, where conditions are better, right? So 1 is correct. Increase chances of predator attack. Why would that be an advantage? As an advantage, the ability to find food. So 1 and 3 we are looking for, which puts the answer at B. 35. Which of the following best describes the terms stimulus and response? Stimulus is a change in the environment, and the response is the change to the stimulus, or the change, reaction to the change, how you react to it. So looking at the answers, D, a detectable change in an organism's environment, an organism's reaction to a stimulus. Item 36 refers to the following diagrams, which illustrates the steps involved in an experiment. All of them have light, all of them have a chute, and the tip of the chute is chained. So we have a foil cap on 1, the tip removed on 2, nothing happening on 3, and a transparent cap, which really puts it the same thing as 3, because transparent means it is see-through. After a few days, the tallest chute would most likely be the one with the foil cap, because there is this hormone called auxin, which will cause elongation of cells and cause this to grow the tallest. The foil cap will act the same as if it is dark. So 36, the answer is A. Item 37 refers to the following diagram of a reflex arc. We have A, we have B, we have C, we have D, which label structure relays the impulse to an effector. And we have B, which is literally named relay. All right, so 37 is B. 38, the function of the choroid layer in the eye is to prevent internal reflection. Item 39 refers to the following diagram of a section of human skin. Which structure is not involved in temperature regulation? Not being the operative word there. And you are looking at B. This 4 is a sweat gland. That's for temperature regulation. 3 is blood vessels. These blood vessels come closer to the skin. You know, vasodilation and vasoconstriction. That is temperature regulation. This erector muscle here, it pulls the skin, it causes this hair and hair follicle to become erect. That's where your hairs stand up. That's part of temperature regulation as well. So the only one that has nothing to do with it is 2. Item 40 refers to the following graph, which illustrates a measurement of growth in living organisms. Which of the following labels would be incorrect on the y-axis? The y-axis is this axis here, and the one that would be incorrect is units of time, C. The following statements describe the processes taking place within a seed during germination. We have 1, 2, and 3. Which of the following sequences is the correct order for the process? Now, we know with a seed, we need enzymes to break down the food stored in the cotyledons, whether it's a monocotyledon or dicotyledon, and those soluble products to go in to be used in order for the parts for the seed to germinate. And you know, germination of a seed is the radicle and the plumule. The radicle becomes the root and the plumule becomes the shoot. So 1 is the end, 2 is the start, and 3 is the middle. So we are looking at D. The production of new organisms from one parent only is known as asexual reproduction. Item 43 refers to the following diagrams of 2 specialized cells, and they are looking like an ovum and a sperm, so we're able to recognize them. And they ask which structures is common to both cells, and we know both of them definitely have a nucleus. These 2 would be haploid cells. Which of the following forms of birth control is most likely 100% effective? We know the best methods of birth control that near 100% is the surgical ones, and tubal ligation. That's a female surgical procedure where the tubes are tied. Item 45 refers to the following diagrams of flowers from 2 different types of plants. We see a nice compact flower here. We see one with dangly parts and nice feathery top here, which should let us know this is wind and this is by some kind of organism. Which of the following statements is true for the flowers? And we have already identified the kind of pollination that is happening. So 45 is A. 46. Which of the following is the correct sequence for seed formation after fertilization? So fertilization happening means we are starting off with an ovule and we need to form a seed at the end. So that makes 46 A. 47. A vector is defined as an organism which carries or transmits disease-causing organisms, or disease-carrying organism, as the answer presents it. 47 is D. Item 48 refers to the following diagram, which shows the life cycle of an organism. And this is the life cycle of a mosquito. We see 4 at adult, 1 is eggs, 2 is larvae, and 3 is the pupa. So which stage is the organism? Easily controlled by the use of aerosol insecticides, and these aerosolized insecticides target the flying adult, which is 4. So 48 is D. 49. A 60-year-old man has been diagnosed with hypertension as well as diabetes. Which of the following treatments would be most effective for the disease? So remember, it's diabetes as well as hypertension. So he needs to make some changes, which would involve him exercising and lowering his intake of salts and carbohydrates. Which of the following best describes a chromosome? A structure made up of DNA wrapped around histones. Yes, that's the best from all that they have provided. Let's go to 51. Item 51 refers to the following diagrams, which show the stages of mitosis. The correct order of the stages of mitosis. And we know mitosis, you end with identical daughter cells. So you start off with 1 and you end with 2 identical daughter cells. So if 3 is the first one, 4 will be the end. And the middle will be 3. We have the chromosomes line up, which means 2. And then the chromosomes are pulled apart, going to the different poles with spindle fibers pulling them. And then 4 being the end, which makes C the answer. On a certain Caribbean island where sugarcane is grown, a fungus is accidentally introduced into the island and destroys the entire crop of sugarcane. Straight away, we could tell that asexual reproduction occurred here. Which of the following best explains why the entire crop was destroyed by fungus? They have no variation. So once one plant got attacked, all were susceptible, which means the best answer is D, no genetic variation. Which of the following is not a characteristic of meiosis? And we know meiosis provides 4 genetically different daughter cells with half the chromosome number, which makes it a haploid number, not a diploid number. So A is the answer. Which of the following terms refers to visible characteristics of living things? And that will be the phenotypes. 55. Albinism is caused by recessive allele. 2 normal parents produce an albino child. So if they are normal, that means they have a dominant gene and a recessive gene, which would make them heterozygous. This is because both parents are heterozygous for the gene. One example of a sex-linked disease is, we have cancer, no, that is physiological. Hypertension, again, physiological. Color blindness, that is sex-linked, that is X-sex-linked. And Down syndrome, that's an additional chromosome. 57. Variation in the population is due to mutation. Yes. Crossing over. Yes. Asexual reproduction. No. So that answer is 1 and 2 only. A species consists of members that are able to interbreed and produce fertile offspring, and C being the best answer. Notice D said infertile, so that is not a species. So C is the best answer. 59. Which of the following descriptions is true of natural and artificial selection? And after reading all of them, occurs in a domestic population? No, natural selection occurs in nature, not domestic. Involves genetic modification, produces great biological diversity. Yes, it does. Is it a faster process? No, it is not. It's a slow process. So 59 is already lined up to be C. Which of the following would be involved in the production of insulin by genetic engineering? Transfer of a human insulin gene to a bacterium? Yes. A vector to transfer the insulin gene? Yes. Production of insulin by the bacterium? Yes. So all three, 1, 2, and 3, which makes it D. Do let us know how you fared in the comments. This is the 60 questions for biology paper 1. This exam was June 2022. We do encourage you to subscribe and click that notification bell so you could be aware when more paper 1s are released.